All right, try to keep going where I was going. Quite a few hours went by since then. My son's girlfriend's parents are about to pick him up, so I don't want him to think I'm nuts talking to myself in the car. But oh well, it is what it is. Um, so yeah, uh, generally I'm the one to apologize, and probably because most of the time I'm the one that fucks up. But even in the times where I think I'm right, whether it's right now or it's even before I got into magic and we fought, I would still always be the first one to apologize. And, because I really believed in the, married or just even being together, to not go to bed mad at each other. My dog's barking, probably hear in the background. It's the person walking by. Anyways, so I'd always apologize. And, now that I got into magic, even though this would happen before magic as well, though, when I could tell she was really upset, frustrated that, even though I apologized and she accepted it, she was still upset. I would start play fighting with her. And, when we play fight, I always win, I dominate or whatever because I can. But like with a child, you let them win sometimes. And the reason I would do that with her is so she can get her anger out, physically get it out. And that's because, I know what I know. I know that doing exercise, especially if you're doing it specifically to move out negative energy, sometimes too much positive energy can be negativity, but that's a different episode. I'll talk about it on Spreaker sometime. But um, just letting someone, I'm not saying to let someone beat the crap out of you or whatever the case is, but my wife, if at that time, she works out now, she goes to the gym, she's doing really well too. But she, at this point wasn't exercising or anything like that in the past. And, now, even now though, I know if I let her take it out physically on me, she'll feel better. And it's not the fact that she's hitting me, and she's hitting me because she's mad, which, that's what most people think is why whenever they hit the person, they're getting out that negativity on them, that the person deserves a punch. So they give them said punch and then they feel better. It's like, you got what you deserved. And that's why they feel better and they can move on. So, it doesn't matter if that's what they think, that's what they think. But that's not accurate. They're really just getting that out of their body. They're being able to physically move those, I don't want to say negative emotion because that's more like negative energy, but that negativity that they're holding on to, that's in their body, they are allowing that to go, because she's still upset about something, right? I gave her some words, she took the words, and she was still upset. Something's still bugging her, and if she's not willing to talk it out, to get out of her system verbally, write it down, speak it out, well, it's got to come out somehow. It's still inside of her. So by letting her, hit me or whatever, then it gets it out. And, it's to a certain extent. I block, and I let her get a good one in. And I block, I let her get one in. I control it as much as possible. But that's normally the process, whether I think she's right or wrong. If she's right, then, I'm going to still apologize. Um, but if she's wrong, I'd always be the first one to do this as well, because I know she's not going to do it. But as soon as I show hints of me doing it, like I said in the last video, that she'll do her little subtle way that only I know, that's her way of saying sorry, because she's a hard-headed person when it comes to that. But nowadays, lately anyways, especially on Sundays, something with Sunday, man. I mean, I know what I think I know, what it's about, and I'll maybe talk about that after. But the Sundays, when we have the fights, it's harder for me to do that, to make that first move, to be the bigger man and just apologize and move on. I have way too many thoughts in my mind going over and over all the things that she's done wrong or is wrong for, and it won't allow me to apologize to her. you know and this could be part of the reason that, me going through the self-transformation, me being depolarized. Sorry, I just want to make sure they don't creep up on me and see me talking in the car. My son's girlfriend's parents. um, but yeah, it's harder and harder for me to do that. And, after this fight, after the big fucking brawl we had, I mean, we didn't actually fight, but like fist fight. But we, like I said, it was pretty intense, and it was over something super ridiculous. And whenever she got back home, and when I tried to go to record, whenever I was upset with her, I obviously couldn't. I was in way too negative a state. Anything I would have said would have came out way too backwards, upside down. You know, it wouldn't have been, I mean, unless I was talking about some fear-based shit or some, you know, something that I don't think is right, and then it might have been a really good episode. But I generally don't want to make episodes in that state. Even when I'm overly excited or happy, I try not to make episodes, because then they might come out too, you know, being in the middle is where you want to be. And that's kind of the overarching tone of this, and I hope I can get back to this. But that's the realization after we made up, and you know, and all that. It was great. But once that all happened, after we made up, it was this is what came to me. It's like, no, there's no reason for me to. I gotta try. I gotta actually work at this now. Now that I identified the problem, identified that, you know, for some reason we fight more on Sundays. I said this a long time ago, so I already know this is an issue. So when there's Sunday issues happening, I gotta do my best to transmute them as they come, because she's not, and it's not her fault, but she's not going to be able to realize that. She's just going to think it is what it is, you know, just fights happen randomly. But for me, I need to be thinking above that. I need to know that on Sundays we're more prone to fight, just like I've even told her to not do anything to extra provoke our oldest boy on Tuesdays, because we could do the same thing to him all week, like tell him to do chores, tell him to do this, tell him to do that, and he doesn't like doing jobs at all. He's kind of lazy in that way. This is the baseball star I told everybody about. Had a big episode about, one of my earliest episodes. And if we do the same things on a Tuesday, he will blow up and leave the house and, you know, say, I'm sick of this family, and, you know, too much Mars energy coming out of him. He's a Cancer, but he's very close to the Leo line, and yeah, well, that's something I should get to maybe a little bit later and break down maybe for you, especially if you have kids. But it's another thing I identified. So now that I identified this Sunday fighting thing, it's not her the problem. You know, that's kind of how I was going. Like on Sunday we fight more. So on Sunday there's something with her sun and her chart that's in balance, and come to find out that it's not necessarily her. It could be me, and I actually think it may be me, because if I'm able to almost always be able to be the bigger man and apologize, and then now I can't, it's not happening. You know, these fights are happening more frequent, and even though they're happening more frequently, when they happen on a Sunday, I'm not able to do that. The only day of the week I'm not able to do that is on Sunday. Well, why is that? You know, my sun is in Taurus in my chart. Mercury is also in Taurus, but it's in my 12th house. But point being, that I had to look at my chart, I had to look at my houses, I had to look at what's right across, and, you know, directly across is, I'm not going to get into all that now, maybe I'll do that in my episode. Point is, if you, I don't know if anybody has this problem or not, you know, but if you do, if you are having fights with somebody, and, you know, if you can't apologize to them or whatever, well, I'm not going to tell you maybe you should be the bigger man and just apologize and suck it up, because, you know, there's too many variables. The person could be wrong, person could be a dick, person this, that, the other thing, could be using you, could be abusing you, could be cheating on you. I don't know, this, can't say that, but I know for me, my wife doesn't do any of those things. She is actually out of all the shit that's happened in our relationship, I've done the majority of the bad things, you know. And you could say, well, I don't know stuff about her, but she's a very honest person, which is probably why she has a problem apologizing, because she's been barely ever really wrong or done anything really bad to be wrong. So there's really no reason for her to apologize. So now that I'm doing my best to be honest with her, tell her everything, and I'm not really doing bad things, she almost has to go looking for the fights. You know, I won't say exactly what happened, but my mood wasn't. Oh, the light just went out. That was crazy. All right, well, let's see if my key's here. Shit, sorry everybody. Fucking light just went on in the car like that. That's crazy. I thought they'd stay on as long as I was in here. I guess I'll have to leave the key in the ignition. There we go. And then there was light. There we go. And there was light. All right. So, oh, fucking lost the train of thought again. Son of a bitch. Oh, but Oh yeah, okay. So I was in a great mood because I had to stop. I was going to be doing my show, and I had to stop doing my show for her to go to the gym. But this is already prearranged. She told me ahead of time, and I knew this, so it wasn't her fault at all. But I was still in a pissy mood, so I knew right from the get-go this is my issue. So this goes back to that same thing I'm saying, how I think it's my problem and not hers. Um, she was up forth and told me that everything was happening, and I got a little upset. But I hadn't done anything wrong. I didn't say anything wrong. But it was like, she could feel it, she could sense it. She's not into any of this stuff, but she knew damn well there was something bugging me, and I was doing my best to not let it out. I was trying to focus on my daughter, and I made a comment about something not being in the house, and she took it as if I was making a comment about her spending or being impulsive and all that again that I tend to talk about. And that's kind of something I hoard over her. I make jokes about it, but it's me joking to try to point it out to her. She thought that's what it was. So when she sent me the text saying, this is how I feel that you said this, and it wasn't nice, blah, 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 I immediately thought she was instigating a fight. So I immediately just went off saying, everything is great, because we had sex the night before. So I'm like, I even spent the day with you. I barely was doing any of my stuff. I was supposed to do an episode. I didn't. Today I was supposed to do an episode. I still haven't done it. So, and now, blah, 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 and you're just instigating a fight. So I kind of was the one to blow it out of proportion, being the man who's supposed to be depolarized, the magician going through the self-transformation. She was trying to be honest, trying to stay positive, and just ask me if that's how I took it. And I lost it on her and instigated the whole fight. And then after, when I tried to make an episode, I couldn't. I ended up sleeping the whole day, and then woke up at 11 o'clock, saw a message from her that she sent me on my phone from downstairs, and then I woke up and I snapped on her. So the ceremonial witch person making all these shows talking about depolarization and my manifestations and this and that and the other thing, I was the one who was unbalanced and polarized against my wife for whatever reason. And like I said, this is a Sunday thing, and I finally was able to identify that it was me, and this was huge. This is why I haven't made this episode though, because we just got over this, and I didn't want to just start ignoring her, trying to make the episode and that, because this week I'm on days, so this is the week we get to spend time with each other after work. So in a sense, the fight happening on Sunday was a good thing, so we didn't have to because if we got into a fight this week, what would happen is we wouldn't have the whole day like on Sunday to have this entire fight. Basically keep rolling up into the climax, and then boom, the big event, and then we fight and get over it. It would be 3 hours every day of the week that we see each other from after work, ignoring each other, saying little comments to each other, and then by Thursday we might have had the fight, and then on Sunday I go in for overnight shift, and then we don't see each other. So it's kind of good the way it happened, and the fact that it helped me identify an issue is really good. But I just wanted to point out that we can be us going through the magical transformation can sometimes be a little self-righteous and think that our unawake counterparts and significant others and wives or husbands aren't as far along as us, and therefore we can always think we're the right ones and we are without flaw. And I never pretend to be completely depolarized, and I'm sure no one listening to me does either, but the sheer fact that you are doing and working towards being depolarized, and the other people aren't, sometimes make you feel like, okay, well, is this me? Because I'm trying to be depolarized, and I'm pretty depolarized, and so it's got to be them, and that's something a very toxic attitude that can happen, that we need to strive to not do. And it took, I don't know how many Sundays we got into fights, and I'm not going to say every Sunday was my fault, but going by what I know now, there's a good chance that the majority of them are because of me. I always thought Sunday was maybe just both of our sons clashing, and I think it's just my ego that's tied to my conscious mind clashing. And I really don't like putting the sun with the ego, because the sun is a beautiful planet, just like, well, it's not a planet, but you know what I mean, like the 7 planets all have good sides and bad sides, so I don't like to focus on any of their bad sides. However, it's just something I need to deal with. And I came up with the conclusion to have to rationalize it. I can't let my instinctive, subconscious, habitual mind take over and just kind of like take over in the sense of no, you're better than she is, so she's wrong. She's doing this, because I completely missed the point she was trying to say, and completely just switched the whole paradigm of the fight and started freaking out on her, and it wasn't her fault whatsoever. But it was just a message that I wanted to send out to you guys, because I'm not gonna say it, because I've like I said before, I've told people, I said manifestations out here before that weren't like of cash that have already came and gone, but like of my EI and being a certain amount of time, and then it actually being shortened. So, but I've had recent manifestations happen, some pretty good ones too. So I'm not going to say exactly which ones, but during this time period. So I want people to know that just because if you're not completely depolarized, if you're having similar issues like this and you think that's what's stopping your manifestation, it's not. But if you remain too long in those feelings and don't deal with them, then yeah, it's gonna consume you. It'll take you over. It'll stop what should happen. Understand that us as people, magicians, witches, whatever, we need to use polarity to our advantage. Whether that's in a fight with our loved ones, whether that's for manifestation, whatever the case is. And you can say, well, isn't that what the bad guys do to us? Yeah, that's what they do to us. But that's the nature of the game. We stay in the middle so we can recognize both sides, so we're not on either one of those sides. And when it comes time to bring something to us or push something away, we can do that. So just because you still get polarized from time to time, it's okay, but you got to deal with it. You got to work on it. You got to get past it. But don't try not to become self-righteous, thinking that because you're doing this. And kudos to anybody going through the program and doing the curriculum, and don't become whoopee cushions. Don't get walked all over. Don't, especially if you're an empathic person or whatever the case may be. You don't want to be taken advantage of. And I think that's where some of the problem comes from, is I was thinking that maybe she was taking advantage of me, and some way, shape, or form I won't really get into, which isn't really the case. But even if she is in a certain manner taking advantage of me in one way as my wife, I certainly do it to her back, and that's part of our marriage. So anyways, I just wanted to maybe put that message out there that from time to time you're gonna see yourself fucking polarized whenever you're trying not to be polarized, and it might break you down, because it's very easy to remain happy, positive, think of your manifestations when everything's going good, but it's very hard to do it when it's not going good. And it takes a big person to be able to apologize or identify what their issues are and work on them actively and try to become better and strive to be better, instead of just putting the blame on somebody else. I was actually part of our fight. She made a statement saying she was trying to be positive and I was bringing her down. And I told her, well, that's how it was for the last 3 years with me going through this program and me trying to be depolarized, and you continuously telling me I had to do this and do this and do this. So every time she would come to me with an issue or problem, I'd flip it on her instead of saying, you know what, that isn't right. Because it doesn't matter if she did it to me first. It doesn't matter if for 3 years she did it to me and I've only done it to her let's say this one time, which isn't true. I've done it to her more than once. But let's just say that was the fact. It doesn't matter. I am trying to make myself a better person so that eventually the change I make inside will affect other people. And it has. It's affected my wife already in a profound way. Just her saying that she's trying to remain positive and that it was me bringing her down shows me that my transformation is affecting her and everyone else around me. She's not the only one that tells me stuff like this all the time. I've affected quite a few people by actually doing the work and not just going out there and preaching. So it doesn't matter. Once, I don't want to say just apologize and try to reverse the polarity. They got a negative charge going. Apologize even if it's not your fault, and make it a positive polarity. Now in this way, the world will be positive and positivity instead of negativity. I don't want to just say that. I do want that to be the eventual outcome, but you first need to deal with the issue, right? Like, we did. Fucking lights, cock sucking motherfucking. All right, I'm almost done, guys. But that's gonna be the eventual goal. But I wasn't able to do that. Like, I was very upset that whole day, and I was so upset that I couldn't understand why, because I knew even inside that this was a stupid reason to be fucking mad. It made no sense to be mad like this, but yet I couldn't help it. All I could do was meditate, and then I fell asleep. And then I woke up even more mad, and then we made up. So I mean, it all worked out for the best reason, and now I was able to analyze it and work at it, and now I know I have to strive to do that. You know, whenever there's an issue, I have to talk to her about the issue and maybe explain to her, okay, well, this is what I didn't like that you did, and then she'll tell me what I did that she didn't like, and then we can move on. And then I can actually transmute the negative energy to a positive energy, and not just fakely do it by, oh, I'm sorry, babe, I'm sorry, it's all my fault, because that's something that, you know, my body is not allowing me to do anymore. So that tells me that that's not always the answer for me, just taking the blame just to get it done with, you know what I mean, just to make you know, smooth the waters over. And that's something people, empathic people, agreeable people, Jordan Peterson says this, agreeable people will do. They'll, on the short term, do almost anything, even at the expense of themselves, to smooth over the waters. But it's not a very good long-term solution. And, you know, maybe that's why my son was telling me that, Corey, you can't just be, yeah, this shit's your fault, but you should probably be apologizing for this one for sure. This is 100% your fault, but you can't be just always apologizing. She has to learn to do it too. It's part of her transformation, maybe. And your part of your transformation is to not always be the one saying, I'm sorry, and taking the blame for shit that's not even yours. So that's a big old fucking video. I guess it's gonna have to fucking edit the shit out of this to get it on fucking certain places. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, the point was just to, if you're having fights, if you're feeling polarized and you get down on yourself thinking, fuck man, I'm supposed to be depolarized, not this polarized. This sucks. I'm never gonna fucking blah blah blah. Don't. That's the worst thing you can fucking do. I'm here to tell you that it's okay. Even the best of us have these fucking moments. I'm far from the best, but I'm proof that, you know, I just had this big blowout where I was mad for almost 24 hours straight, you know, almost the entire Sunday. I was angry to the point where, you know, just, couldn't do anything but try to meditate, and then fell asleep. That was it. So angry. And manifestation happened on Monday, manifestation happened today. Boom, boom. And I mean, I did Sigil for the one like a week ago, and the other one was just, something I wrote down that I didn't even think was going to happen past. That one wasn't very, you know, well, it's important, but anyways, I can't really get into it without saying it, but point is, you know, even with this big polarity fucking battle between me and my wife, where I was completely polarized against her, she was polarized against me, bad energy in the house, you know what I mean? This shit still happened because I did the other shit right towards the process. And maybe I needed to go through this polarity battle to learn this lesson for it to actually happen. Because, you know, a fucking Monday, we made up. Well, it was technically Monday when we made up. We were done having sex. It was Monday. It was like 12:30 or something like that, Monday morning, basically. I had to go to work in like 5 hours. And so I didn't get much sleep that night. But, you know, once we made up, boom. So I had to transmute that energy. I had to go through that probably. I don't know. Maybe it would happen faster. I don't know. But all I'm trying to say is don't get down on yourself if you have these polarized moments. You know, try to analyze them and get past them and figure out what you did wrong, or at least if you can, you know, look at your chart too. If you can notice a pattern like it's happening on specific days, then it might be a good thing to look at what day and where that is in your chart, and you might be able to realize, you know, it might be something as simple as Mars energy, the Sun energy, or it might be something as more complex like what's across from that, or, you know, what house it's in, you know, because what you're fighting about could be, you know, if you're fighting on every Sunday and your Sun is in your fucking, you know, your second house where your money is or something like that, well, that could be the issue. That's what my wife says. That's where her Sun is. It's in her money house. So, and then whenever she thought I was making a comment about something that had to do with her being impulsive with money, we got into a fight. Well, look at that. Funny how that works. So anyways, that's it for me. I'm going to have this next episode hopefully wrapped up in the next couple of days. be nice if I could finish it tonight, but I can't guarantee it. Like I said, I record stuff on the phone and then I put it on the computer. I have recorded right to the computer, but the problem is I got extra people in my house right now. Brother-in-law's down, so it's very hard to find silence and to be able to do this without thinking there's ears listening to me. And when I do it like that, it's half-assed and it's not very well done. So I have to come to the car like I am right now. I'm at my house, but I'm hiding in my car doing this recording, this video. So that's kind of the problem. And on the phone, the recording fucking app is not even on there. The one that comes with the phone, I can't even fucking find it. And I feel fucking dense, but like I looked everywhere. I asked a few people and they can't find it either. So I'm gonna have to record or I'm gonna have to download one. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed. Have a great fucking day. Fuck you, stop.